This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Uncanny X-Men figure of Emma Frost in her diamond form. This is, of course, one of the Marvel Legends line of figures, and probably shares a lot of parts with our previously released Emma Frost figure. Now, just a quick thing on the diamond form. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it appeared in one of the X-Men movies, and I know in the comics it had something to do with a bunch of mutants getting secondary abilities, which honestly did not make much sense to me. Like, Beast had a more beast-like form where he looked like he was a cross between a dog and a lion, and I don't know what the else. And then Emma Frost got the ability to turn her skin into diamond, making it hard and shield-like. Of course, in the X-Men movie they did, Charles Xavier and Magneto basically broke the diamond form, or cracked it enough so that it was no longer invulnerable, which was stupid! You're so stupid! Stupid! We're going to give Emma Frost this invulnerable form that she can use. And then, in the movies, we're going to just take it away right away. Stupid. You're so stupid. Stupid. And I also want to say, I hate when they do this kind of shit on the artwork. You got a whole big open space there. You could have put that anywhere, but you stuck it right on her and that bothers me for two reasons. The first and the main reason is it ruins the box art. Like, you have a nice figure of her there, made a lot of effort with the diamond effect on the skin in the artwork, and then you throw a big ass bubble thing on her crotch that could have gone somewhere else and saved the artwork. It just annoys me when they do shit like that. Now, if we turn it around, we get a picture of the figure back there, and we get Emma Frost, diamond formed. Telepath Emma Frost's chilly demeanor is only reinforced by her secondary mutation that transforms her body into virtually indestructible organic diamond. Organic diamond? Okay, that's kind of a weird way to put it, let's be honest. But anyway, yeah, the back of the box is pretty fucking boring. So let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? Oh, man. I was trying to avoid that sort of thing happening, and I failed. What a surprise. Alright, so let's take a look at our accessories really quick. Danger Room Programming Manual Volume 1. It's a little book. It's an itty bitty little book that's going to do us no good. And she comes with a mutant pathogen research binder. Or in this case, because it's got the flap there, looks like a trapper keeper. Actually, it does 100% look like a trapper keeper. Oh, by the way, she comes with a fist and one holding hand, and two items that she could technically hold. She also has a spare head. We'll take a better look at that here. This is going to be interesting to try to get a decent picture of, don't you think? God, I got some issues with this figure. I should have paid more attention when I was buying her, though. There's a little black spot on her white uniform. Honestly, both the head sculpts look pretty nice. But let's, here's like our previous X-Men 97 figure. I'm just kind of wondering, and this is going to be hard to tell. Yeah, let's grab this head. Because I was wondering if they use the same head sculpt on her. But like I said, it is really hard to tell because of the clear plastic being used. I would say probably not the same. Looks like they made a new head sculpt. Oh, well, let's... Well, the head does fit on the old ball joint there. So it could be the same head sculpt. Because the hair was separate on our Emma Frost. Let's put her back on her thingy. Now, where I've been surprised already is that she actually has on different feet. Like, I was 100% expecting the legs to all be exactly the same. And we can't take their cape off, which is annoying as too. It does look like the thighs here might be the same. Or maybe not. Actually, the thighs appear to be less detailed on the newer version than on the cartoon one, now that I look at it closer. So there might be more new sculpting on this figure than I was expecting there to be. I am pretty sure, though, that the arms are the same. Now, what's weird, I can't tell. Again, this stupid effing cape. Okay. Pull that head off here. First off, there is a pin in the back to try to hold it in place back here. I don't know if it was already pulled out or if it pulled out before, earlier. I don't know if it was pulled out before I got to it or already, or if I did that while I was messing with her. But it was laying limp against her back, like, there's a decent enough chance that I'm going to rip this cape before we're done here. All right. All right. So let's try to take a good look at her back. Because it does feel like this white part is a separate piece from the clear plastic here. And also, it is a boob cut. So it does look like the articulation is different than on the original toy, but I can't tell because we couldn't get that shit off of there. But it does look like she does have a boob cut for sure. I can't tell if there's a waist swivel in there. Yep, there's a waist swivel in there, although it's very hard to turn. The belt is actually a separate piece, but the uniform itself is, well, I think it is a separate piece. It's glued onto the torso part more. And it is a different ass than the previous one. And there's a little wrinkle here at her crack. But it's actually pretty well, I guess it's more formally than what we've seen in a lot of figures again. Somebody at Hasbro is actually making an effort to make the female body look female. But we do get... her back does actually bend backwards quite a bit. Watch, seriously, I'm expecting to wreck this. Even this white collar here, you guys can see that. That also feels like it's a separate piece. It's not just painted on the plastic. It feels like it is a separate piece that's on there and glued on there. So in all truth, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with the way they made this figure, aside from the stupid cape thing. Which I feel like really needs to be cloth. After all that. Although, I don't know how well this is going to look, but you can see where the cape is inserted into her breasts through there. So that's kind of funny in my opinion. Yeah, this is kind of going to be a similar issue as we had with this cape with the other Emma Frosts, because you basically have limited almost all of her arm articulation by having this be a rubber cape and not actually like cloth attached here, which admittedly would be more difficult, but would function better. This really is more of a posing figure than a playing figure. I think I've said that before for something else too. But as I was saying, articulation-wise, her head is still... I'll put the head on later. Her arm can basically move forward about that much. She does have a double joint in her elbow. Not that it does a whole lot of good. Wait. She did not have any extra hands either, did she? Oh, no, she did. Hold on. I forgot to get them out. Because she has the little, the spell casting hands too, which the other one came with. I don't know why they have this insistence on these fists, honestly. But she's got a fist over there with in and out articulation, and she's got a grasping hand here with in and out articulation also, and can spin around. We did talk about the boob cut here, and that this part does swivel a little bit. But the way the belt is kind of attached there, it really affects it all quite negatively. Not that you really need to move that part very much if you're moving the boobs anyway. Her leg can kick forward that far. And we can get about that far back with the cape. We can do the splits like about this far, so she can do a nice high kick if you want her to. No drop down hips. Spin at the thigh. Double jointed knee. Her heel does have a hinge and can spin around. I am so glad that they went with a high heel. And again, I'm surprised they didn't just use the same legs and thighs as the previous one. Which is kind of weird to me that they have this line actually in here. It's a physical line. It's not drawn in. But on the other one, they painted over the line. I mean, I think it was physical, but painted. And of course, the boot does have like the different design here with like the little foldy things on the side. Now let's just look at both of our head sculpts. I think they have the same expression, but I'm not sure. Like, to me, this one looks a little bit more angry than this one does for some reason. But both her heads do look pretty good. Minimum makeup. They just gave us a little gray on the lips. And a translucent gray at that, I would say, just to show that she has them. With her eyebrows and her eyes themselves, the only things painted, with just a touch of like a little dark eyeliner, but no eyeshadow around them. So this was the head I think that was originally on the figure when we pulled her out. Oh, there's the belt pulled up again. Oh my gosh. That is super obnoxious. So with that head on there, we can spin the head. We can do a little bit of movement back and forth for up and down, or as close to looking down and up as you can, which isn't much with this head. Then we have her other head where her hair is mostly halfway back and halfway front. This is definitely a personal preference kind of a thing. It's kind of weird because I kind of like this head until I put it on her, and then I don't like it as much. If that makes any sense. But I think this is going to be my display head. Okay, this is going to be interesting because I'm going to be talking about this idea a little bit later because I did it when I was having the figure spin around. Because I noticed that the White Queen, or I noticed that this Diamond version of Xmen Frost is actually shorter than the previously released one. Like, noticeably shorter. Right? And while I am, like, extremely sure that the arms are the same on both figures, I want to figure out what parts of this are actually shorter than the other. And first off is the feet. She does have shorter feet in the new one. The heel looks like it's just a little bit smaller, and obviously, if you can see there, it does not go all the way up, or it doesn't go as high as the other part does. So the feet are a little bit shorter, but that doesn't really make up for the height difference. Let's take this off. So we're going to line up the legs at the bottom here. So you can see that her calf is also shorter on the new one, right? Because the kneecap starts here and up here. Then we take a look at the thighs. I am going to line them up at the thigh cut here. And the thighs look like they're about the same length, actually, in this case. There's might be a little height difference on the old one. Like it's a little bit taller, but not by much. And the hip area here, that one's a little harder to get a measure on because, well, honestly, it almost looks to me like the newer one's a little bit taller. Unfortunately, these aren't Masterverse, so we can't like take apart parts of them to check out the torsos, you know, the way I could with the other ones. But let's see if we can try to line these up crotch by crotch here. It does look like the torsos themselves might be roughly the same height. Although, looking at it, pop your head off. If you might recall what I did earlier, flipping this around, she's got more of a curvature in her back than this one does. So let me try lining them up here. This is kind of tough, and this probably looks like crap on camera, but I think this is about the best I can do to try to do this comparison. It looks like their torso areas are the same length. So it would seem that the main difference in height comes from literally the lower half of the legs. Mostly. This is kind of a tough one for me because I do actually really like the way this figure looks overall, but I hate that cape. Like, I know this is an outfit style that she wore for a long time in the comics, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Just the fact that they've given us Emma Frost wearing these kind of costumes is just stunning. And what the hell? Is she actually short? She's actually shorter than the other two. I can't believe I only now realized that. She's actually shorter. Why is she shorter? I don't know if it's just maybe her heels are actually shorter. Yeah, I think maybe it's the feet might be the big difference here. But anyway, before I get too far off track here, that just kind of threw me off. It's not a bad outfit, but I think this is one of those cases where they really needed to find a way to work a cloth cape in on there where, you know, you could still move her and the articulation would still be functional. But really, her arms are absolutely useless overall when you get right down to it on this figure. And that's just a shame, aside from the fact that she's so much shorter than the others too. Like, I'm talking about this now, but I think what I'll do when I'm done recording this part is I'm going to just try to do as good of a comparison between the two figures as I can to figure out what parts caused her to be shorter. You know what I mean? Because it is just so tripping me out that she's that much shorter. So yeah, I do like this figure. I don't see myself buying a second one to display both heads, sort of like I did with the 97 Emma Frost figure. Although granted, she did have a couple different display options that this one doesn't have. Namely, she doesn't need to wear the cape. So you had more of an excuse to have two of them. But I would say definitely for just a figure in your collection, this would be great. You know, go ahead, pick her up if you find her. Shouldn't be too hard. While I ordered this online, I did in fact find her in the store also, now that I think about it, because I was trying to make so much in my order to receive a discount. But yeah, as I was saying, this would be a nice figure to add to your collection, especially if you're just displaying toys anyway. But why don't you let me know what you think in the comments below? And if you enjoyed this review, please feel free to smash that like button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe, maybe even cyclically tap on that notification bell. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.